Welcome back to another daily recap. Today is Monday, December 16, 2024. The time is currently 9:27 p.m., almost 9:28. So we're not looking at the pre-market, the chart in the morning before the market opens with the levels. I will show you the levels from the morning by virtue of showing you the email that was sent out right here at 7:37 a.m. So here are the levels. You can see them here, 607.50 at the top, 599.88, everything in the middle. You can read that if you want. So here's the levels, and just trying to find ways to speed these videos up, save some time. Now that you've seen the levels that were identified early in the morning, let's look and see what happened if you were trading these levels by the book. The vertical line, of course, marks the close of the previous day. I'll just move that out of the way, maybe just get rid of it completely. Just to point out that the open here at 9:30, they went up and hit 606.40 to the penny and pulled back down. But I like to give the market 15 minutes to settle in. So after 9:45, market was down here. They went back up. But we like to pull our levels down toward price with a 5-cent buffer. So 606.35 is the operating level. And I'll go ahead and put the profit target objective at 40 cents, which is the equivalent of 4 points. So 605.95. If you had triggered a short trade in the E-minis the moment the spiders hit 606.35, here's what happened. They came down and probably would not have given you 4 points in the E-minis because the low here over the SPY was 605.98, 3 pennies away before they took off. A few minutes later, they're back up at your entry point. What I'd like to do is just jump out at a wash, consider that trade done, because I'm not sure at this point if they're going to go higher. Well, if you had stayed in this trade, you would have been given a base hit and then some, but we're not counting it because the rules are the rules. So this level was done on the short side, but when they came back into it later, 605, so 606.35 would become 606.45. We're adding 5 cents to the original level. Enough time had gone by when they got out of this level here to when they got back into it here on the other side. The low here at 11:33 in the morning was 606.45 to the penny. That's enough to trigger the trade if that's how you had it set up. And you're looking for a profit of 4 points in the E-minis, which will be about right here in the SPY. Took them a little while. They got within 10 cents right here at 11:43. You can see the high was 606.77. And that would be considered a near miss of your profit objective, just like what we saw over here. So when they came back down to the entry point, you would have jumped out. But also just keep in mind what they're doing at this point. You know, they get above some resistance. So generally speaking, this area is going to act as support for a little longer. They're not going to come down probably this soon. But if we're sticking to the rules, we're not going to count this trade as profitable because although they did go up and give you a base hit later, it was within that 10-cent threshold. And it's just something I just don't like to do. I didn't trade anything today. I'm just telling you what you would have done. So this level has been satisfied on both sides. So if you were strictly playing by the rules, no actual profit taken, it depends on how adventurous you would have been, or if you're looking at other things happening and you would have had more indications that this level would provide more support here. Honestly, it was the right resistance and it was the right support, but we're just sticking to a process here. The next level, 607.50, you would have triggered a trade at 607.45, and we'll put your profit target. You're going to go short there. They came up into it. So your profit objective would be around here. That's 40 cents. They hung out below this level for a little bit. It wasn't long enough. If there's 20 minutes or more from this point here to here, it wasn't 20 minutes. But if there were, then I would kind of second guess going into that trade because that consolidation, especially if they just go flat for a while, if they go flat for a while for 20 minutes or longer, that's usually a pretty good sign that this level is not going to hold and they're probably going to go higher. But there's really no reason by the rules not to go ahead and go short here. And if you'd waited this one out, it would have looked like this. You're short here, out of the money, whole time. Then at the end of the day, they came down and gave you a base hit and continued to fall. And what did they fall? They fell right back into one of the original levels and bounced there again. So the levels are important, and you would have had at least one official base hit today. Depends on how you traded them. I don't have a recording to show you. I didn't take any trades. And I'll go ahead and say right now that that's probably going to be the case for the rest of this week. On one hand, I have plenty of work to do at the office this week, last week before the Christmas holiday, and I'm out of town for a few weeks. So I'll say more about that later. So I need to get stuff done. And the other thing is there's just too much happening, mostly the Wednesday FOMC meeting, and price could just kind of get weird. I'll still put the levels out as like I showed you this morning email, and then we'll talk about what happened after the fact like I usually do. So one official trade. Let's take a quick look at this 2-hour chart of the SPY. I mentioned on Friday that this could turn into a bearish consolidation if price came up to the top of this breakdown candle here, it would push price down. Well, they got above it pretty early on. This is a 2-hour chart, so several hours into the day, they closed a candle above it, another candle above it, and you can see where they bounced off this trend line from the top. So if they can get above this trend line, then they've just got to fight the all-time highs, which is up here somewhere, and they're going to go higher. Because this bearish consolidation here isn't really playing out the way it should. Normally, the right kind of timing, like right about here, if they were still under the top of this, then that'd be a good place to be short at this point in time. And I would not do it now. They could fall, but I'm just not feeling it at this point. I want to see what's going to happen in the pre-market tomorrow and the next few days because of all the data releases and the FOMC and everything else this week. We could see some surprises. And don't forget about that 6111 in the E-minis. If they get under that, then they definitely could go lower. And on the tracking log, I'm just going to show you the playing by the rules log, PBR, because in the interest of time, there's no point in me showing you the Sam's trades log because I didn't take any trades, and I'll kind of catch up with that later. So here is the one base hit, and you can read the notes of what happened. So that's pretty much it. But that's what I have for today. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow morning, as usual, new levels. I'll show you the email later in the day, and we'll go over what happened. No more trades for me, probably for the next several weeks. Maybe tomorrow I'll give some more detail about what's going to happen when I'm out of the country for a few weeks. So I'll talk to you in the next recap video. Have a great rest of your day.